Let's get some tax time tips now from Margi Mannix, the Vice President and Digital Editor-In-Chief for AARP. What's the number one thing that taxpayers need to know?
Big thing they need to know is this is probably the most complicated tax season ever. COVID has disrupted our daily lives in so many ways and so many facets, and especially our finances. People have lost jobs, but on the flip side, people have gotten some economic stimulus payments, and both of those play into the tax season this year. So they've got to be extra careful this year to double and triple check their forms to make sure that, for example, they are if they've missed a stimulus payment, that they are collecting it through a credit on their tax form.
What are some common questions taxpayers have this season?
Sure. Well, one of the biggest ones is, can I file for free? And they ask that a lot of us because the AARP Foundation has a wonderful program called the Tax Aid Program. And that is in existence this year. Millions and millions of Americans have been helped by our Tax Aid Program every year. This year, we are requiring appointments this year because of COVID restrictions across various locales and, of course, volunteer availability. So we have several options, contact, low contact, virtual. But there is still in-person help, but you must have an appointment. There's also the IRS free tax file program. So if you are an older American and you make less than $72,000 in income, adjusted gross income, that you can qualify for tax help, and there is tax help out there. Other big question, it's really kind of twofold question. One is, are my economic stimulus payments taxable? Short answer, no, they're not. The other big question is unemployment benefits. Many older Americans might have applied for unemployment benefits for the first time in their entire lives.
Are there some typical issues that are affecting older Americans in particular this year?
Well, as I said, yes. I mean, they might have, be facing unemployment benefit taxes for the first time in their life. It's confusing if you've never done it before. But the good news is that there's special help for older Americans. For example, there is a form that debuted last year called the 1040 SR. And it is for older Americans, and it's particularly targeted to older Americans who still fill out their tax forms by hand, which many, many people do. So it's got bigger font. It can help you. It also includes a worksheet that talks about the recovery rebate credit. So if you are an older American and you are missing a stimulus payment, and it could be for many reasons. It could be you lost your job and your income has gone down now. The IRS won't know that until you tell them in the form of your tax return. So make sure that you look at that worksheet. It's not only in the older Americans SR form, but it's also in the regular 1040. I would encourage everyone to look at that because you can recover your missing stimulus payment there.
What tax frauds and scams should people look for?
Yes. Well, there's two bigger things going on. One is the perennial people posing as IRS agents and calling, and this happened to my mother recently, and saying that you owe back taxes and threatening arrest or hauling you off to jail. That's ridiculous. That's nonsense. If you did owe back taxes, as I assured my mother, she does not, but if she did, the IRS would send her a letter. The other new twist this year is that people are actually committing identity theft by applying for unemployment benefits in other people's names. And this is a huge shock to older Americans who, get the form 1099-G in the mail talking about the unemployment benefits that they've claimed. Those are taxable. So that we want every older American to know about these scams so that they can spot them and avoid them. And we've got all this information and tips and resources at www.aarp.org/taxes. It's all there for everybody to take advantage of.
Terrific information. Thanks so much for sharing it on our show.
It was great to be here. Thank you.
For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.